If you die tomorrow, does your family know what they can and can't do with your house? Can they walk in and grab the deed? Can they list it for sale the next week? Can they even change the locks? Most people have no idea, and that's how families end up losing homes, losing money, and losing each other over a house that was supposed to be a gift, not a nightmare. Today we're fixing that. I brought in one of the best estate planning and probate attorneys in Charlotte to break it all down. Wills, trusts, deeds, probate, inherited homes, all of it. No legal jargon, no boring lecture, just the truth about what happens to a house after someone passes and how to protect yours before anything ever happens. So let's get into it. Welcome to Let's Get Real Estate with Veronica, the show where we talk real estate, real money, and real life with zero fluff and maybe a little too much personality. I am your host, Veronica Diquez, real estate broker with the Redbud Group at Keller Williams South Park here in Charlotte. Today's topic is one that touches literally every family, whether you want to think about it or not. What happens to a house when someone dies? Who's in charge? Who can sell it? Who's stuck paying the bills? And how a will, a trust, or a deed can either save your family a ton of headache or start a war at Thanksgiving dinner, unfortunately.
That's right.
Now, to help me break this down, I've got an incredible and beautiful guest joining me today. Her name is Sabrina Winters. She is the founder of Sabrina Winters Attorneys at Law PLLC right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Thank you so much for being on the show, Sabrina.
Thank you for asking me.
Absolutely.
Happy to be here.
It is a pleasure for us to have you here. Sabrina and her team focus on estate planning and probate. And honestly, what stands out to me about their practice is the mission behind it. She's not just drafting documents. She's genuinely trying to protect families from what happens when there's no plan in place. Her team believes in listening first, educating their clients, and building estate plans that are actually customized to real people's lives, not some cookie cutter template. So Sabrina, again, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Of course. And let's talk. Let's start where every family starts. In the worst moment, someone just passed away, and now there's a house just sitting there. Let's talk about what actually happens. Walk us through it. What actually happens to a home immediately after its owner passes away?
Well, it depends. And a lot of my answers are going to be starting with
Perfect.
It depends.
Okay.
Often, first you have to start with who owned it.
Okay.
Sometimes the house was owned with somebody else. It could be a spouse. It could be just another family member or a friend. Then you have to see how it's owned if it's owned with somebody.
Okay.
And that's where a lot of people get mixed up because they just say, well, I was on the deed or they gave it to me. Why can't I just have it? And there's a lot of legal junk behind it. So step number one would be, let's pull the deed and let's see how this home is actually owned.
Okay.
Once we know how the home is actually owned, then we can figure out what the next steps will be.
Because it's going to depend if there's a survivor that it's on the deed as well.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And it could depend if that deed was deeded to a revocable trust.
Gotcha.
Which is where we would find ownership. So starting off with how it's owned is primarily number one to make sure you do, so you know what the next steps are going to be.
Perfect. Have you seen cases in which a spouse situation, one of them passes away, it doesn't go directly to the other spouse?
Depends how the deed is written.
Okay. That's why it's so important to check on the deed,
There are, I've had a lot of matters where it's a second marriage.
Okay.
And one of the spouses moves into the home of the other spouse and they've never changed the deed.
People listen to this.
And they don't think that it's a big deal. Now the owner of the home passed away and the surviving spouse is not an owner on there.
Yeah.
And the worst possible thing would be that there's no will and there's other kids.
Ooh.
When there's no will, North Carolina decides where everything goes. So oftentimes married couples in a blended family don't take that next step to look at the deed and change ownership because the surviving spouse may be kicked out of the home that she's lived in, as her marital home.
And let's say you have a husband and a wife, the husband passes away, she's the second wife, and she says, but he made a will and I'm on the will for that house. Does it matter if the house was deeded to the first wife or there's kids or?
Big deal. Very big difference. Okay. You can do a will, you can do a revocable trust, but the deed is going to control the ownership.
So the deed controls the ownership. So even if you do a will, you're not safe.
You're not safe because you didn't pull the deed, see what the deed said.
Yeah.
And then you didn't conform your will or your trust to make sure that everything is flowing smoothly. And that's what happens a lot of the times.
Yeah.
You get the documents done, but no one has talked to you about the back end. Beneficiary designations, how a deed is owned, they trump whatever the will or the trust says.
Exactly.
And that's something that's missed a lot.
I know, and that's why I wanted to record this because people think, well, I made a will. Well, let's say the deed's more important than the will.
Let's talk about that.
Unfortunately, yes. Does every home in North Carolina have to go through probate, or are there exceptions?
Okay, so it depends.
It depends.
If it's owned by a trust, it likely will not have to go through probate. That's one of the big reasons people do a trust instead of a will.
Okay.
Probate and real estate are a big deal when somebody passes away.
Yeah.
If it's owned with somebody and it says rights of survivorship, it doesn't go through probate because, again, the deed controls the ownership.
Okay.
If you own it by yourself and there's no transfer on death person or anything, then yes, the will and the trust are going to control where that goes. But again, if it's not owned by the trust, it's going to have to probably go through probate.
Okay. And just a quick idea. What's probate? Yes.
Probate's the legal process in North Carolina in order to get an asset that's owned by somebody who passed away over to the entitled beneficiaries.
That's a beautiful way of saying it. Okay.
Yeah.
So much easier than when I try to explain it.
It's about the only beautiful thing about probate.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go through it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. It is interesting. Every time we have to sell a house that isn't probate, we're like, oh man, here we go.
Yeah.
We never know what surprises are going to come up during the process.
And then you sometimes lose buyers because nothing happened in court and now you're waiting.
Is there a specific time frame that it should take, or it doesn't matter? It depends on the situation. It depends.
Again, it depends. But in North Carolina, because we have, 1,001 counties, we're all supposed to be uniform, but every county is going to be different in size and how.
Okay.
So Mecklenburg County, it takes about 4 months on average to have somebody appointed through court.
Just appointed.
Just appointed.
Okay.
And then you have to publish a notice to creditors oftentimes for that. And so when you're not prepared at the beginning, you've found a great buyer, but they're not willing to wait that amount of time.
And it's not even guaranteed, like, we don't know. It's open-ended until it is resolved.
And there's almost no reason to expedite in court.
Yeah.
You file it, you have to wait along with everybody else.
You're in line.
You're in line. Now, there's some other counties that are quicker.
Okay.
Process still is going to stink.
Okay.
Same process, maybe a little bit faster, but you still have to do stuff.
Yeah. So it is better to prepare everything and not leave. If you do want to leave property to your loved ones, please do something. Don't just leave it up to probate, because it's going to be a nightmare for the people that are grieving already your loss, and then now they have to deal with all of this nonsense. Yes.
And somebody could be living in there who doesn't have the money to pay for the mortgage.
Yeah, exactly.
And now they're waiting to sell it, but they have no money to pay the mortgage, and now a foreclosure has started. That happens a lot.
Yes. Let me clarify this. Because somebody dies,
yeah, I know what
the
you're going to say.
bank is not going to be like, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss, we won't charge you.
No, they don't care.
They don't care. They are going to charge somebody. They will find somebody to charge. And if you don't pay, goodbye house.
They will foreclose a home that was owned by somebody who passed just as quickly as they'll do anybody else.
Absolutely. It doesn't matter to them. Now, once someone passes who actually has the legal authority to protect and manage that, who has? When someone passes away, let me rephrase this. Who has the legal authority to protect and manage that property? It depends.
It depends. We should just put that on repeat.
It depends.
It depends. If there is a will, we look to see who was named as the executor. That's the person that has the authority to go through the probate process. If there's no will, we have to look to North Carolina statutes and look to see the order. Who's first, who's second, who's third.
Like spouse,
allowed.
child, grandchildren.
We literally just go down the list on who's allowed to do it. And just because they're at the top of the list doesn't mean that they have to do it.
Yeah.
They can just say, I don't want to do it, and we can give it to the next person in line. So it depends.
It depends. Okay. This is the question that everybody panics about. Who's responsible for paying the mortgage? Because like we said, the bank is not going to be like, oh, okay, it's fine. We're not going to charge you. The taxes, the insurance, the utilities, while all of this gets sorted out. Who's typically responsible?
Really, the only person that's responsible for that debt is the person that passed away. They're the only ones,
right?
In the example, I guess, is who did the note, right? But now, because there's a note with a deceased person, if you don't want it to be foreclosed, you have to pay it.
Okay.
So oftentimes beneficiaries are just using their own funds.
Yeah.
They're using their own funds. Maybe they were beneficiaries on a life insurance policy.
Okay.
And that gave them some resources. But the taxes have to be paid. The insurance has to be paid. If you're trying to sell it, you need to keep the utilities on.
Yep.
And so somebody has to pay those. I typically tell clients, well, you're not allowed to change utility names anyway.
Right.
Until you have the authority. Just don't touch it. Keep paying it.
Keep paying it.
But
Yeah.
then you run into the problem where, well, the decedent was paying them auto pay by an account that I don't have access to. So
It can get so complicated. Yes.
just let it keep paying.
Yeah.
Let it keep paying until something happens. But you don't want to shut power off if you're looking to sell, as
Definitely
you
not.
obviously know. So
Exactly. Yeah. That is very important.
yeah.
Yes. This was such a good first part of the show. I'm sure everybody, a lot of people, their minds are blown. They're like, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean it doesn't come directly to me? What do you mean I have to go through probate?
Yeah.
So we are going to keep this conversation going. We're going to ask really good questions. Don't go anywhere. It's about to get better. Welcome back to the show where Lupita has stole the spotlight with my guest, Sabrina.
I love it. I love it.
Gotta love Lupita. Can't say no to her. Now, we are going to talk about where my world and Sabrina's world collide, because I get calls constantly from heirs who say, can I just list the house? And the answer is always,
It depends.
it depends. So let's get into it. Sabrina, can an inherited home actually be listed for sale before probate is fully completed?
So it depends.
I love it.
For example, if it's a husband and wife that owned it, yes,
Okay.
because the surviving spouse automatically owns it and they can do whatever they want. Nothing has to happen in probate. But if it's owned by two unmarried people and it's not rights of survivorship, then no, because half goes through an estate and the other half stays
Yep.
with the current owner. So that's, again, you have to go back and figure out who owns this before you can determine what are our next steps and who's allowed to actually sell. But typically, you cannot list it for sale
Yeah.
before probate happens, unless there's a couple of exceptions.
Yes. And that's a little nugget for a lot of my buyers. Nowadays, a lot of people buy a home before getting married.
Yeah.
And that's always a conversation that I tell them to
yes.
have with the attorney when they're doing the deed and the closing of what kind do they want? The right of survivorship, the joint
Yes.
tenancy. I always tell them it's very important because you're not married, so you're not going to be protected
Right.
later on if one of you passes away.
But they have to be explain that as well. And I see
Yes.
that that's a big lapse in when people are buying homes. They're not educated on any of that.
Exactly.
It's just assumed, and we'll do it this way. And there's what, 1,000,001 pages to
Yeah.
sign?
Yeah.
No one's reading that.
Or 2 million.
Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
exactly.
2 million. You're
exactly.
right. No one's reading that, so you're just signing and signing, and then later you're like, I don't even remember signing a deed.
Exactly.
So yeah,
So it's something to always think about. If you're not married and you're buying a house together, make sure you have the conversation with your closing
right.
attorney, because it can bite you later.
Yep,
And
hard.
it can be pretty ugly.
Hard.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yep.
Now, Sabrina, who is legally allowed to sign that listing agreement with someone like me when someone passes away and they're taking care of actually selling that house?
So again, it depends. So if it is a husband and wife, and the husband died, the wife is the one that can sign because she's the legal
Okay.
owner.
Okay.
If it's a property that had to go through probate, depending on the timing of the sale, typically the executor is going to sign as well as the beneficiaries. of
Okay.
it. So it's going to depend on where it came from. Married people, single people, come from a trust, was it just a will? All of that's going to play a big part in what the next
Exactly.
steps are.
Exactly. So if, for example, you have a trust and there's 5 siblings,
Oh,
which
I've seen
happens.
that. I've seen that.
I love your siblings, but oh my gosh, please be on the same page when you decide to do this.
Yeah.
So all 5 have to sign, correct? Not one can make a decision for all 5 if they are all on the trust.
Typically, no. And now
Yeah.
the title company also gets involved.
Okay.
And they may have them sign off on something.
Okay.
I'm usually not, I'm never at the closing, but I do counsel them on what I want them to do.
Yeah.
But you can't close unless the title company says okay on everything. So
Exactly.
sometimes we have to just make them happy
Exactly.
and do things that we don't have to do, but we don't want to lose a buyer. or the time that it took to do all that work.
Yes,
So,
exactly. And this is a hard conversation to have with you parents who want to
Yeah.
leave a home for your children.
Yeah.
If you know your children are not going to agree, have a conversation
Have a
about it.
conversation.
I can't give you any legal advice. She
Yeah.
can. But don't put your children in that position in which they're going to be stuck with something that they're not going to agree on what to do with it, and then
Yeah.
nothing happens.
and that's where educating your client comes in, because
Yes.
I have to educate my clients and say, you've got 5 kids. Let me tell you what's going to happen just with 2.
Exactly.
And then we're just going to multiply the issues that can happen. So
Yes.
sometimes the option is, why don't we just tell the trustee that we can sell it? Sell it, and then the proceeds get divided. You've limited the
So
number
you
of
assign
people.
one person, you can
Yeah.
sell it without all of them agreeing, but then the benefits are going to be divided. That, I think that's the best way to go with
Yeah,
it.
yeah, and it doesn't
If they're
work.
not on the same page.
Right, it doesn't work for every plan.
Yes.
But if they don't know the option and you don't talk about it, then there's only one way to do it, and that's the
Exactly.
hard way.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
why it's so important to get informed.
Yep.
Now, at what point does the court actually need to approve the sale before you can sell it?
It depends on the timing of the sale, if the
Okay.
estate is still open, if the notice to creditors has not expired. So when somebody gets appointed through probate, then you have to publish a notice to creditors
Yes.
4 weeks in a row, as you
Yes.
know. During that time period, as soon as one notice to creditor has happened, you can sell
Yes.
and sign the contract of sale. At that point, it's usually all parties have to sign off on it.
Yeah.
Now, if the estate's been closed and everything's happened, then the beneficiaries are the owners, and they're the ones that are entitled to sell and sign and do all of that.
Perfect. And
Timing.
real quick, what is the notice to creditors for those who don't know?
It literally, it's, hey, by the way, this person has died. You have this many days. This is the cutoff to file a claim against the estate. Buyers are not going to buy a piece of real estate where there could be a
Yes.
judgment on it, or a lien, or a creditor claim. So the title company is going to not only check the deeds,
Yes.
but they're going to check the probate documents to see that that has happened.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
this could be maybe, the person who passed away did a job at the house, they did a sunroom, and they had a contractor, and they still owe them $10,000.
Yep.
So the contractor now has a lien against the house. Before you can sell the house, you have to pay me the $10,000. So that notice to creditors will give them that warning.
right.
So that way you can find out if there's any debts or anything.
Yeah.
And I had a couple of transactions where we found out almost at closing that there
Yeah.
was some debt on the house.
It's better almost at closing than when you're sitting at the table
Oh
trying
my
to call
gosh,
everybody.
yes. No, definitely not.
Not fun. Not
no,
fun.
definitely not fun.
Well, I just recently had one that there was $1 million tax debt
What?
lien. Yep. Yeah.
That's nothing.
I mean,
That's just
that's
cash
nothing.
money.
So we hired an attorney who's a tax expert to deal with that. We published a notice to creditors, made sure everything ran, and then they were able to close. But
Wow.
they were lucky because their buyer was willing to wait.
Okay, that's good. Yes.
That doesn't happen all
and
the time.
no, definitely doesn't happen all the And some people get freaked out when they hear, oh, there's a lien for this much money. No, I
Yeah.
want out. I
Out.
don't care. And
Yeah.
they just, they get scared. They
That's
get
right.
spooked.
Yeah.
So, ooh, that's a hard one. Sabrina, what documents does an executor or heir need to prove they actually have the authority to sell?
If it's an executor, that means that there was a will that they were named in. You need an original will. That's the best way, although there is a way to probate a copy of a will.
Okay.
There's extra steps, not the preferred way to do it, but there is
Yeah.
a way. You can even probate out-of-state wills. That's not a
Okay.
problem, just a couple of extra steps. So that's the proof that I was named as the executor,
Yeah.
and the court, and there's a couple other documents you have to submit, and then the court reviews it.
Okay.
It's a clerk, it's not a judge
Yeah.
in North Carolina. It's not like a lot of
Okay.
other states. So it's a clerk who's not a lawyer nor a judge that's looking at the documents. So sometimes you need to talk things through
Okay. Interesting.
because things come up that the clerks are not aware of. So
Yeah.
you just have to be nice.
Yeah.
So they'll listen to you when the time
Please
comes.
go in with a good attitude. These people
right.
are dealing with a lot in court,
That's
so you
right.
want to make sure you get on the right side.
That's right.
This is a big one for my sellers.
Yeah.
Should heirs put money into repairing the home, sell it as is, or just take a cash offer and move on?
Depends. But that's where you would come in.
That's where I would come
yeah.
in, really.
That's where I would say you need to talk to your realtor.
Yes.
And it also depends on what the will says, but if it's theirs and theirs to sell,
Mm-hmm.
that income, that net proceeds, is theirs. So that's the decision that you and your heirs need to make.
Yep.
It typically is not going to affect the estate that much.
Gotcha. And my answer is always going to be, it depends.
It depends, right?
It depends
See?
on your situation.
That's how you stay out of trouble.
Yes. Do you want to sell it quick or you want to get the higher profit? Let's
Yeah.
talk about it.
Uh-huh.
And then we dig deep and
That's
see
right.
what's
Is
better
it
for
worth
them.
it? How long is it going to take?
Exactly.
Who's going to pay for it?
Exactly.
Because
if
not
you're gonna
everybody wants to
repair it-
pay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your 7 siblings are not all going to
Oh
want to pay it.
my gosh. I'm telling you. Before anyone accepts an offer, what tax questions should heirs be asking? Is this something that you can counsel them on or guide them on, or do you connect them with somebody?
I always say you have to file the final tax return for
Okay.
the year that they passed away in.
Okay.
So if somebody passed away in 2025, in 2026, in April, you're going to file their 2025 tax returns.
Okay.
While you're doing that, you have to make sure they filed the previous tax returns. I don't let clients close estates unless we have that in writing.
Okay.
Everything is up to date because they can be owed money or they have to file taxes and we don't know if they owe a penalty.
True.
So we leave the estate open until that happens. But I don't counsel on taxes, but we have people that we trust
Perfect.
with our clients that
You
can
connect
talk
them
to
to the right. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's very important.
Yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
I think so.
Absolutely. Now, I will say from the real estate side, we're having an agent and an attorney who actually talk to each other saves everyone weeks of headaches.
Imagine.
Oh my gosh. I have seen deals blow up over a missing document that could have been handled in one day. So Sabrina, before we go on the break, for everyone watching who is sitting there thinking, I might be dealing with this exact situation right now, or I am a parent, or whatever, I'm going to leave my house to somebody that I love. I need to talk to Sabrina to make sure that I have everything in a row, my ducks in a row, to make sure that the people that I leave my inheritance to are not suffering later on. How can they contact you? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
So our website's sabrinawinterslaw.com, and there's a self-schedule on there, or they can call the office at 704-843-1446. Isabella's going to be happy to find a time the strategy session can be met, and we start talking about all the things.
Yes.
All the things. What are you scared of? I always ask, why'd you call? Is something happening? Oftentimes people say, oh my God, my neighbor died and they're going through a nightmare.
Yes.
And I can't do this. Or maybe somebody famous was in the news and that happened to them. Or it's been our to-do list and now our kids are 18 and we don't have to worry about making a decision on who's going to care for them.
Yeah.
Millions of reasons.
Millions of reasons.
So, yeah.
And you are able to help them with everything. Do you prepare the will? Do you prepare the estate? Do you check the
Yeah.
deed and tell them this is how you need to have your deed?
Yes.
You help them with all of that.
Help them understand what the plan looks like.
Okay.
How to have conversations with the people that they're choosing.
Okay.
What to do with the documents when we're done, how to have conversations with your physicians, all of that.
Yep.
And we always pull the deed because half the time people are not really sure.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't even remember. This is horrible. I think I did it right, but I need to double check my deed because I
Now
bought my
you
house
check.
before I was in real estate. So, all right, don't go anywhere. When we come back, we are clearing up one of the most confused topics in all of real estate planning, estate planning. Will versus trust versus deed. Which one actually wins? I think we already touched on that, but we're going to get into it a lot more for you guys. We'll be right back. Here's the thing. So many people think, I have a will, I'm covered. Like me, absolutely thought that. And Sabrina, I'm going to let you be the one to break their hearts on that one. Again, we are going to touch on this several times because so many people have this misconception. And Lupita is being very needy right now. Lupita, do you have a will? You're in my will, Lupita. You're okay.
That's right.
Sabrina, does having a will actually keep a home out of probate? We touched on this, but I want to make sure that people are understanding exactly what we were talking about.
The only way a will is going to keep a home out of probate is really indirectly. A home doesn't go to probate if it's owned with rights of survivorship with somebody.
Yeah.
On the first passing, it avoids probate. On the second passing, it's not going to.
Okay.
But in the hierarchy, a deed is going to control everything, regardless of what the will or trust says.
Okay.
The ownership of the will is number one.
So we want to, I know we talked about this already, but it's so important.
Yeah.
Because again, my own story, I bought a house before being married and before being in real estate. So I knew nothing of this.
Yeah.
And I don't remember having a conversation with anybody about what type of deed we wanted.
You probably didn't.
So,
and that's what's sad.
Yeah, exactly. So I make sure you have the conversation. Now, can the deed override what's written in someone's will?
Yes.
Yes. And that one is not an it depends.
That's not an it depends. If the deed is owned by two people with rights of survivorship and the will gives it to my neighbor, it's going to the person that owns it that's surviving.
All right.
Yep.
So important. So important. How does a revocable living trust actually protect real estate?
One of the biggest mistakes people make is they get the will and they do nothing. They get a revocable trust, and they do nothing with it.
Okay. What do you mean? Who is they?
My clients come and speak to me and they say, I want to avoid this whole probate process mess. What do I do? Well, let's get a revocable trust.
Okay.
Obviously with some talking and educating. So now we're doing a trust. It does no good not to have that trust own certain things because that's how you avoid probate. One of the biggest things I see is that real estate's never transferred to the ownership of the trust. That's the only way you're going to avoid probate if you have a trust with deeds.
So you do the trust, but you don't do anything with your house to actually,
People leave it alone.
So it's not going to automatically link the two.
No, there's no magic wand. You have to actually prepare the deed, and then you have to look at other assets that go in there. Are you giving family money to pay for the mortgage while you're looking to sell it? Where's that money coming from? And all of those steps don't always happen after somebody creates it. It's not one and done.
So now it's a cloud of confusion for the person who inherited the home.
Yeah, you spend the time and the money and the effort doing the trust, and then you don't do anything else. Now your family is going to probate, paying the expense, going through the process, going through all of those hoops, losing potential buyers for what?
Exactly.
You do it and do it right the first time.
So it's not just doing the trust, but then taking different steps to make sure that everything is connected to that trust.
That's right. Got to do things.
Got to do things. All right, people. Nothing in this life is easy. We know this by now. If someone sets up a trust, does the deed need to be exchanged too? That was my next question. So I'm glad that we're doing this again. Or does the trust handle everything on its own? Let's repeat that.
You have to do another deed transferring it to the trust. The deed, and we probably should have said this earlier, I apologize, but the deed is the ownership of real estate. That's what it's called. The account name on a checking account is how you show ownership of the account. So the deed is where we're going to find the ownership of that home or that. We should touch upon too the rental properties that people have in businesses.
Please. Yes.
Because that's a mess.
Yes.
That is always a mess. People don't have them in LLCs. They don't have operating agreements if they have LLCs. They have minor kids and they're now running a business that has 10 real estate properties in it. It's a mess. Real estate is a mess in North Carolina, regardless of what it is if you don't take care of it properly.
It really is. It really is. So let's talk about that because a lot of my clients and a lot of the people who watch the show are investors.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Yes. So let's say I am Jackie and I actually have investment properties.
Excellent.
Myself. So me and my husband, let's do Veronica, not Jackie. Me and my husband have rental properties. We have a trailer park and we have a house in Florida and all of it is under our names. One of it is under our company's name. If we want to make sure that we leave this to our stepdaughters, what is it that we need to do?
It depends because there's a couple of ways. Without having all of the details, I can just speak generally. If you are investing in real estate, or which land is also real estate, you should protect the rest of your estate by putting that real estate in a type of a corporation.
Yes.
You're limiting the value of what somebody can sue your estate for.
Yes.
Number one. Personal liability is lower because you've given it this veil that they can't extend past, right? So that would be my number one thing to think about. And then if you have multiple real properties, then what's the value limit that you're going to put in there? So maybe it's 2 or 3 LLCs that are being created. Then through that operating agreement, we say the trustee is going to manage it for our kids until the kids are a certain age, and then they decide if they want the business. Whatever the operating agreement says, your will and your trust almost every single time have to mimic that.
Okay.
Or there's going to be confusion.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing's going to say take route A, and the other thing's going to say take route B, and they're going in opposite directions.
Yeah. So there's a lot of little pieces that you have to make sure that you put together to create the final piece and make sure that everything is aligned.
That's right.
For it to go where you want it to go.
Yeah.
Without any issues.
Absolutely.
That is so interesting. Now, I hear this all the time. Is it a good idea for a parent to just add an adult child onto the deed?
Oh my God, I love this question. No, I'm not even going to say it depends. It is almost always, in my opinion, a flat out no.
Okay.
Why? It's a gift.
Yeah.
It's always better. Well, not always. Most of the time better to inherit a piece of real estate, because if you sell it, your capital gains is likely way lower than
Taxes.
right?
Yeah.
Than if you got it as a gift. But the biggest reason, you don't know what the creditors are like for your child that you just added.
True.
You're taking on their creditors. They have a say in what happens. So now if you want to sell it, they have a right to decide what the sale price is.
When you're alive. This is
When you're alive.
Before you go over the rainbow.
Now,
Yeah.
now you come to me and I tell you all the dangers, and now we want to take this person off. Do you think that your child's going to sign off on giving you back that home?
Oh.
Probably not. Some may,
Yeah.
but probably not.
Yeah.
Also, you gave it to one child and you've got other children.
That's the
Did you want it to be equal?
drama
Did
will
you
begin
not
at
want
any
it?
second now.
Yes, but you know,
Yeah.
I do see that a lot when they are older clients and they've been married for so long.
Yeah.
That they just heard that it's better to have, it's easier when I pass away. And then again, you know, the deeds are done wrong
Yeah.
when that happens.
Yeah.
They're done completely wrong, so it's a nightmare.
It is a nightmare. So no, let's talk to an estate
Talk to a
planning
lawyer
attorney.
first.
Talk to Sabrina, please.
Yeah.
Now, Sabrina, I feel like this segment alone could save somebody's entire inheritance, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Many people, the real estate's their biggest asset.
Yes, absolutely. It is one of the, if not the most biggest purchase that they're probably going to make in their
That's right.
lifetime. So
Agreed.
absolutely.
Agreed.
This is the stuff nobody teaches you, and by the time you find out you did it wrong, it's usually too late to fix quietly. So before we head to our last break, again, for anyone who is watching, realizing right now that their will, trust, or deed might not actually be doing what they think is doing, how can they reach you?
Call our office, 704-843-1446, or you can reach us at sabrinawinterslaw.com. And there is a self-schedule on there, and they can get themselves on my calendar in their pajamas.
Perfect. And we are going to put all of that little image on the website so that you know exactly where to go, so that you can book your appointment with Sabrina right after mine, because I'm going to be the first one. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere. And we are back for our final segment. I'm actually sad because this is such a good conversation. I am with Sabrina Winters, and we are wrapping up the legal talk with something that applies to basically everyone buying a home with another person.
I gotcha.
Sabrina, let's start with married couples.
Yeah.
How should they be taking the title to a home when they buy a house? Lupita's giving her a love.
Don't mind us.
Let her talk, Lupita. Let her talk.
In North Carolina, married couple, when they buy a house together, it's called tenancy by the entirety.
Yeah.
It's the only asset in North Carolina that is owned that way. And it has automatic rights of survivorship. So on the deed, it'll say married or spouse. That's how you know that they were married and that it's automatically rights of survivorship.
Okay. Perfect. And that's the way that they should do it.
Typically, yes.
Yes.
There could be a reason not to.
Right.
But if they're going to buy it together as husband and wife, and their intent is that it passes to the survivor
Yeah.
of them, that's how it should be purchased.
Yes. And I will say this. It takes one to buy, it takes two to sell in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. When you have a married couple, both of you need to sign the sale of the house, even if you get divorced, even if you're separated, and so forth. I've
Unless
had that
you
happen.
sign a free trader agreement, right? There's something that changes
That's
that.
exactly where I was going.
Yeah.
So if you want to buy a house and you're in a not very good situation with your spouse, what
Yeah.
is it that you need to do to make sure that you can sell it without your spouse?
Yep, it's a free trader agreement that a
Yep.
family attorney can create for you, and it just says, hey, I'm your spouse, you do what you want with that. I have no say with it and I don't have any rights to that. You
Yep.
do what you want to do. It's all yours.
I've done that so many times with clients.
Yeah. That's fun.
It is fun. What about unmarried couples buying together? What should they decide before they even get to the closing table?
Yeah. I think that married couples, if they're married already, should already have their own estate plan.
Yeah.
So they don't have to do one and then the other. It all should be happening together if you don't have an estate plan put in place. Because they need to understand how it's owned and what happens when they pass away. And I've had bad situations where a spouse has died a week after they closed, and
heartbreaking.
it's horrible. So anything can happen to anyone at any time. Get your plans done and figure out what you want to happen with all of that. Because if you have minors, they can't own anything.
Yes.
You got to create a trust for them. And if you've got 4 kids, like your 4 siblings, we need to talk about what that looks like.
Exactly.
Right? It can get complicated. So
Absolutely. What about a couple who is not married? Should they be doing anything different? Because there's a lot of couples nowadays that don't want to get married and they have their life together.
That's right.
Do you recommend, in North Carolina, do you recommend that they do anything different when they buy a house?
Likely there's something that has to happen that's different, but they have to figure out what they want.
Yes.
So if they're not getting married, they can still own it with rights of survivorship, but what's the rest of their plan going to look like?
Exactly.
Because if I owned it with somebody I wasn't married with and I died first, everything's going to go through my partner's estate.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't want that.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe we both put money in and it should go to both of our families.
Exactly.
So they have to have a really deep educational conversation with me or somebody who does what I do to give them all of their options, because real estate will be a nightmare.
Absolutely. And, you know, some married couples have children from previous
blended
relationships.
families.
So it's just, it can get very tricky.
Yep.
Very
Absolutely.
tricky later on, and ugly, unfortunately. It can get very ugly.
Yes.
If one owner in an unmarried couple passes away, what actually happens to the home? Depends.
It depends.
Yep.
What does the deed say?
What does the deed say? Exactly. So if you didn't do it right at the first time, maybe that person has a child.
Oh.
And now that goes to the child, but now you can sell the house because you only own half of it. And now the mother of that child or father of that child is a nightmare, which happens, unfortunately.
Oh, yes.
Now it's a whole new reality show kind of drama.
It's bad. I've even had clients where they're married, second marriage, house was in the husband's name, he had the kids, he dies. They evicted her. I had another one where she had to buy them out. She had to refinance.
Oh my God.
It was really, really bad. And again, people don't know this because we're not educating the public enough to this.
No, we're not.
We're just not doing our job.
That's exactly why I wanted to do the show.
Yeah,
because
you're
there's
right.
so many questions every time I talk to somebody about inheritance and what's going to happen to the house. And we're in this situation. It's not that clear.
You are very important too at the beginning when somebody passes, because we need somebody to do a fair market value.
Yes.
So we know what the value was, because you don't want the capital gains to be different.
Exactly.
So getting you in at the very beginning is one of the smartest decisions, because then you're around from the beginning. You know what's going on. You could still look for a buyer.
Yeah.
Right? You'll maybe find one that's willing to wait.
Yep.
But you're very important at the beginning.
Yep. And unfortunately, you know, when I've done that, sometimes the people who ask me to do it, they're like, well, no, I can definitely sell this house for $1 million. Oh, honey, that's cute.
Only $1 million?
That's cute. And then I do my analysis and it's like, it's not going to sell for more than 700, for example, things like that. So now they're fighting over money that doesn't, it's just.
Of course they are.
Yes, I just sold a piece of land in Florida, actually, and it was an inheritance, and it was interesting, but we were able to get
Florida's
it through.
so different from us, too.
Yes.
They have crazy things
Every
happening
state,
there.
it's
They're
totally
crazy.
different, but she had her ducks in a row, thankfully.
Thank God.
It was just a 3-sibling situation that we had to figure out. But we did. Sabrina, could the deceased owner's family, like parents or siblings, end up becoming co-owners with the surviving partner?
Depends what the deed said.
Yep.
And what their will or trust said, but yes. Yeah.
So now you're stuck in a situation and you're owning a house with somebody you don't even want to own a house
That's right.
with.
Or sometimes you don't even know who that person is.
Or you don't even know them. Exactly. So again, so important, so important.
Plan.
Plan. Should buyers create or update a will or trust right after closing, or is that something that can wait?
So it depends. If they come to me and I already know they're going to closing, then I will help them understand what that deed should look like.
Yeah.
So come to me, let's get that done, figure out with somebody who can educate you, because
Yes.
we're failing at that, not
Very
the people
much.
in this room. And I'll tell you, I'll tell you how the deed needs to be so that it's correct.
Yes.
And then we'll just finish our planning from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of so many things we can do to educate people now,
Yeah.
and I am going off the tracks here. So, what should buyers who have kids or stepkids from a previous relationship be thinking about before they buy? So, blended family.
Right.
You're all together now. You have kids. He has kids. Now they're all blended, and you have a kid together. It can get messy.
Let's add more to that. It's worse, right?
Yes. What are your first questions or suggestions to a situation like
The
that?
couple has to have a conversation alone.
Yes.
They have to determine, and we're going to have that conversation too, but they need to know when husband dies, what does he want to happen? If wife dies first, what does she want to happen?
Yeah.
Most of the time, a will is only a Band-Aid for them.
Yeah.
That we're doing trusts and we're separating assets into separate trusts maybe, or they have a joint trust with different beneficiaries. They have to understand what they want so that I can educate them on what the next steps are and how that all looks like.
Absolutely.
Because I can't make that decision for them.
Definitely not.
And I don't want to.
No,
I'll
and
make
nobody
enough
does.
decisions, but that I don't want to.
And I think it's a conversation that so many couples put off, right? Because nobody wants to talk about what happens if you die.
No.
What happens if I die?
And I leave my kids behind.
Exactly. And
horrible.
then, honestly, you can have disagreements. You can have disagreements,
It's
and
okay.
if you had previous kids, and your partner had previous kids, who gets what? And
Yeah.
but it's a conversation you gotta have. Otherwise, you're gonna leave all of that weight to the people that you actually wanted to help.
And imagine the kids don't like each other.
Oh my gosh, whole different
That's
thing.
going to happen. The kids don't like each other. They don't know each other.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't even want your home. They live somewhere else. They're totally fine, and they don't want to be bothered with your home.
Exactly.
Sometimes I say, let's bring the kids in if they're old enough.
Yes.
See what they want. Sometimes that helps you figure out.
That is true, because sometimes we don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, let them
Why
figure
don't
it
you
out.
leave it to this? Or, yeah, I love that. Sabrina, this was such good information. This was absolutely one of the best conversations that I've had on this show. And I think
wow.
it is so important because people are so misinformed out there.
Yeah.
And lack of information, not even misinformed. Some people just don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. This is so important. And I am so grateful that you came here today.
Oh, thank you for asking me. It's wonderful.
Absolutely. I am going to be booking an appointment with you.
Awesome.
Because now that I'm thinking about it, we only did a will. And I want to make sure we have rental properties,
Yeah.
your stepkids. I want to make sure that everything
It's all fixed.
is all fixed.
I got you.
And the other thing I was going to say is sometimes you talk about what happens to you. What are we going to do if something happens to you? What are we going to do if something happens to me? But what if you both, unfortunately,
Oh,
go?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
It can happen. Bad car accident, something like that. You got to think of all the situations if
Yeah.
you really want to take care of the people that you leave
And
behind.
that's oftentimes why people don't want to come talk to me.
Exactly, because you don't want to have that conversation.
I've killed them all off multiple times.
Exactly.
But we make it a little
Yeah.
bit lighthearted. It is a serious topic, but
It is.
it's something
It's
that has to
necessary.
be addressed, and we make it a little lighthearted. Everybody at one point has gotten killed off in our meetings.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
we're fair to everybody.
And there's one thing that is certain. We're all going to die.
We're all going to die.
We don't know when. Nobody told us when it's going to happen.
That's right.
So we got to plan accordingly.
Absolutely.
Sabrina, now this has nothing to do with houses.
Okay.
We are going to do a fire round.
Oh,
This is
my
gonna be
favorite
fun.
part. Okay.
So I'm going to ask you a set of questions. Don't think, just answer.
Okay.
All right. Best barbecue in Charlotte. Go.
My house.
Oh, I love that answer. Okay, we're going to have to get invited to your house. Tacos or sushi?
Tacos.
Lake Norman or Lake Wiley?
Neither. Can I pick the ocean?
Oh, yes. I am right there with
Okay.
you. I am right there with you. Uptown or South End?
South End.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Carolina Panthers or Charlotte FC?
Charlotte FC.
Woohoo! Football, baby.
Yep.
Sunset by the water or picnic in the park?
Sunset by the water.
I love that. Courtroom outfit, black or white?
Black.
Black. Sweet tooth or salty snacks?
Sweet tooth.
One word to describe Charlotte real estate right now.
Hot.
I love it. That's fantastic. That was so much fun. Thank you so much for coming to the show and for giving us all of this world of knowledge. There's so much more that you guys need to learn. Make sure that you book your appointment with Sabrina so that we have all of our stuff together so that unfortunately whenever we let's say it, we die, we're going to die.
Right.
It's part of life, that we don't leave a nightmare behind, that we actually take care of the people that we love in the way we wanted to take care of them. So thank you so much, Sabrina, for coming.
Thank you. This
so
is
much.
wonderful.
This
Great
was so
information.
much fun. Lupita, you want to say goodbye? Come here. Nope, she does not want to say goodbye, people. She's in a bad mood. She heard I'm not leaving everything to
That's
her,
right.
so she got upset. She has 2 siblings. Yeah, it's 3 of you. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and please don't miss our next episode. We'll see you soon.
Bye.